This is Christine Via, Creative Memories Advisor, with part 2 of the cruising. I'm throwing things around here. And while I was off camera, I decided to use white. Because one of the things that I like to do is put memorabilia on here. You might have cruise cards or the newsletters from the cruise of the happenings, and you can cut those apart and you can put them on back here. And it's a great way. You've got your title here. Title, maybe some embellishments, and you open it up and you can see how this goes together. And you can have some of the memorabilia. You could even throw a photo on there if you want to. But really the highlight of it is going to be this center page, which is going to have the photo. And I really recommend at least 6.5 inches one direction. A 6x8, an 8x10, something like that. Those photos sometimes come in a different size. And then you can mat it how you'd like. And this is the solo piece of this paper I have, and I really love it, and I thought it would be a nice anchor to have like a ship's photo on. And this is the Tidal Waves border punch, and I punched one because I want to put it along the edge on each of those sides, and then we're going to cut one for right here. And then I want to do the ships, and I'm going to figure out how to layer them because I want to have the little ships going along. Now you could punch multiples of this and change the body of it depending on the cruise. What color is your cruise ship? And we went on a Disney cruise one time, and the bottom part was black and the upper part was white and red. Whatever cruise line you've been on, you can do that, or you can just do one color and leave it as is. So we're not going to do a whole lot to the inside of this right now because it's really for memorabilia if you have it, or photos if you want. We could maybe put a mat in here, make a mat. That would be good. So we're going to focus on doing this border. And when you do a border, some of the border punches have these, I call them darts. It comes from sewing. There's always these little marks for seam matching. And that allows you to know where to place. You see the little indent comes up there. And when you're lining it up, you would line it up from there, and then it lines up the punched part. But these can interfere with cutting your next one. So I just clip these little guys off. Now I want to share with you, there is a very, punch confetti / punch poop, whatever you want to call it, that comes off of this one. And I threw the first ones away, and I thought, why did I do that? But I saved a couple, and they look like this. And I thought, I cannot throw these away because I see a border somewhere with these. So we're going to set those aside. And we are going to line this up just like our other border punches. And see how I'm going to line up the little dart there. I really love this punch. Kind of reminds me of Moana. This would be a good Disney World, Disneyland punch, or going to the movie. Part of the live action Moana was filmed here in Georgia last year. The top secret thing that we all knew about. And you can see here, these wonderful little swirls. So I am going to keep the big S's. We'll find something for them. I actually kind of like these little scallops, but that's a little too fussy. These, though, I have potential. Oh, you could use this for a bass clef. For those of you who do music, you can hardly ever find things with bass clefs. All right, so now we're done with this guy. Now, if this was an Alaska cruise, this would be a perfect time to use the whale tail punch. I love this punch. It's actually very, very cute. And then you could punch just one segment, and then you could have the whale tails coming out of the water. That's an option. I use it as a weight so that it doesn't tip over. All right. Try to keep things in frame here. All right, so what color should we do our ships? I'm wondering. I don't know. How would that look? I don't know. Let's just start with the blue cardstock, and we'll see how that goes from there. Maybe blend white and blue together. These are so cute. And I'm sorry that sometimes I just have to, I need to use the products that I have. I've used all my On the Shore already, and I literally have just scraps left. So that isn't going to work. One of the kinds of cruises that I failed to mention was in the Scandinavian countries. This would also be a good thing. And I don't know if you've ever run into icebergs, but you can get icebergs in the North Atlantic and the North Sea. I've been on a fast boat ferry in the North Sea, and boy, is that an experience. Oh, boy, boy, boy. And you could even just use the boat and alone, and then doing a layering. I'm going to tuck that in every other one. You could potentially do every one. Well, let's just be cooperative. So you can see what an effect that would have. I'm going to put this on top of the white right now to see how, oh, I do like that. It is different. I like being different-ish. I think we'll do a full boat and then cut a half a boat there. I even like it connected, although I might disconnect this and just do two ships and cut them apart. And let's cut this little edge off. All right. So we're going to want to cut right there. So I use my multi-purpose tool, which I think I've said this before. If you don't have one of these, they're like an 11th finger. That's what I call it. I'm using it to emboss where I want to cut. It's invaluable, like when I'm applying sticker letters or even stickers that I haven't put anti-stick powder on. It's just perfect. Let's see here. And right, so we're going to adhere the top and the bottom down on that. Just got to figure out what I... So one of the reasons you're going to get this in piecemeal is because I'm still fleshing out how I want to do this. And I'm going to see if I happen to have any memorabilia. And one of the things you can do, I have been working on a scrap journal, doing a page for the places I've visited. And the intent was one photo on it, and I've kind of morphed from there, maybe two. And I was going to do one page per location, but how do you just do one page about the things you saw in Rome? So I've taken photocopies of the memorabilia because I haven't done the actual album yet. I accidentally put this down when I didn't want to. And this is when the skinny end comes in play. And I'm wondering if I want to separate those a little bit. Maybe I'll do, yeah, maybe I'll do half a ship. And we'll look at this. There we go, and now I can put the ship down. And I'm happy with it being blue. We have sort of a monochromatic look going on. So depending on the time of year, there just might be some marine life. I think on the main page, when we do that part, I think I might put a dolphin in. All right, so let's slip this back in. I mean, you could even use this as a journaling opportunity because we journal, because that's part of our story. I actually do like the way that looks. All right, let's do the other side, and then we will do the center. I will come back to you in just a minute. Okay, and I'm back. And we're going to put together the center panel piece. And this is actually a fairly simple, easy to do layout. Now, what do you do if you don't have this water? What if you don't have the cruise ship? And there are other options. You could do any of the other water options. You could do the sea turtles jumping out of it. You can maybe find some water mammal stickers that would work. There are some Border Maker cartridges that have water that you could use. So there are other options. I know this cruise ship is really adorable, and you might be able to find one on the secondary market. This is one of those that I hope they do a bring back on. I have a whole list. Gosh, I need to send the requests in because they listen to the requests. They truly do. All right, so this is the left side. I'm going to put it under the mat. And you can see how this provides a continuous look. And we are probably also going to do some photo mats right here, but the big one will be up there, and we can put a mat in place for something that size. I'm looking for my magic little mat. Those of you who are wondering, this, we had a set of, there's 3 different mats, and I like the smaller one because I usually do, you know, smaller piece things. But it has a little thing on the end, a tab that you can roll it up and connect it. I keep this thing out all the time on my desk, so I cut the tag off because it was the little flap, because it was driving me nuts. So that's why it looks different than what you might know and see. All right. Oh, it might help if I do this part. Ha ha ha. Let's see here. So any of our tropical looking collections would be great for tropical, you know, the Caribbean. I think relax into summer would be great for Mediterranean cruise. I think chasing the sun would also be great for the Caribbean. If you know someone who's got the Jamaica collection that came out for advisors, some of them were for sale, and our trip got switched because of the hurricane that did damage. I am out of those, so we're going to line this right up. And so I'm going every other one, and the reason for that is it gives it a different sense of movement. And I would like to think that the cruise ship I'm on does not need to have all those waves slapping against it. Let's see here. And we have perfection here as far as the even count and coming to the end. There we go, and I'm going to put a little bit of juice on that. And I rub that out. You really, really, really don't want to get photos with this repositionable on it. All right, so there is part 2. You'll have to wait and see what we're going to do next.